6 weeks in a row. Thank you.
Go ahead. Brennan, I wanted to ask you, your tight ends are down kind of low quantity. You concerned about that? I know Keleki had a pretty good game. Decker DeGraff's been playing well, but there's a bunch of guys that are banged up.
Yeah, we feel pretty solid about the position. If we need to, we threw Zach in there the other day, down there in the goal line. But the position's been pretty much the same since really somewhere in the middle of the first game. So we feel pretty solid about the position. Really like the way those guys are performing. Great teammates, all that stuff.
Coach Carroll, I
Apologize for that.
I got a text from a guy who was with you down in Arizona, and he said when you guys were here a couple of years ago, he said that when you guys were here a couple of years ago, he thought you guys got Husky Stadium full blast. He said, but it was nothing compared to what you guys had on Saturday night. And I know you've been in Seahawks Stadium. Can you kind of compare that atmosphere to what you've been around?
It's obviously different when you're on the other side of the ball from the home team. So it felt loud a couple of years back. Obviously, the crowd was electric this weekend. This is what Seattle sports town. This is what it is. This is these fans that love their home teams and have great supporters, and they show up and show out. So it's, I can't imagine a place being much better. Although we're going to go to a fantastic spot this week in Iowa, and those guys are going to be ready to go, and it'd be a great challenge for us to have to flip it and play in a hostile environment.
Steve, similar question for you. Your dad was on the Manicast last night talking about the crowd and how much it impressed him, especially compared to some of the crowd noise pumping, all that sort of stuff, which was fun to hear about. But where does that atmosphere rank in terms of big games you played in?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. I mean, it's tough to compare. Everything's different, but no, it was really cool. Fans were into it. It was a great game, and I think everybody on the field felt the energy. I'll speak for myself. I definitely felt it, but it's all about the players. Those guys went out there, made the plays, and credit to them for sure. But the energy from the stadium was awesome. I love that.
BC, guard was on the availability report as questionable before the game. I guess just what's his status ahead of Iowa, and how's he just looking overall?
Yeah, well, excuse me. Guard is he's working through some stuff, but he was working through some stuff last week, and he was available and played a bunch for us. So we're hoping for the same result for this week as well. But we'll know more near the end of the week. But he's a battler. He's going to fight through, and if he's able to go, he's going to go.
With Voight Tanufi lining up in the backfield, was that something that Coach Belichick offered up, or did you go get him?
There was a lot of begging and pleading. I believe some dollars were exchanged, but it was well worth it. Voight made a great play. He obviously executed his assignment very well, and it was kind of a great way to kick things off and run the ball downhill a little bit.
Can you kind of tell me his reaction when he was first approached about doing that? I guess he's got to be happy.
Big smiles. No, he was overjoyed. He's not the only one that's been campaigning. There's been a line of guys, raising their hands saying, "I can play offense too." So I just send them right to Coach Belichick and tell him, "We'll get you if we need you." But I know Voight did a fantastic job, and he's fired up to help out any way he can. Great kid.
Steve, what were some of the biggest challenges that you saw when they made the quarterback switch going from origin to total that you had to adjust to? So they scored on 3 straight drives, and then after that, you guys allowed 39 yards, I want to say, for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's it always starts with us. I've said it before. It starts with us on defense, me, the coaching staff, getting those guys right, getting them ready to go. They made a change, which whatever they want to do on that side of the ball, that's up to them. But we got to keep the focus on ourselves, and once we settle in a little bit, we play better. But it took too long.
Steve, where have you seen the most growth from your defensive line this year?
I think those guys being in Kafusi systems has really helped them. That setup that Kafusi's got going, and bringing those guys along on and off the field. And keeping them in check. You can see how the system works. So shout out to Kafusi Systems and how that that plan that he has. I think they'll continue to get better every week if they stay on track with what they're being told to do.
You don't have Javon Parker anymore, and Zach Durfee's battling through injuries, and Valdez, same thing. He didn't play much against Michigan. Who are the guys that stepped up for them? Could you name a few that, like I'm thinking Linnaeus Davis, but could you talk about a couple of these guys that had to show up a little bit more, and they did?
Yeah, Linnaeus Davis, Logan, Voy, obviously he plays all over the line, but I'll just go back to Kafusi's systems. He gets those guys ready to go. Me, the whole coaching staff, we got a ton of confidence in him and coaching those guys, and he does a great job. And I put a lot of trust in him, as does everybody else, that he'll get all the D-line ready to go.
Brennan, you guys are incorporating Adam Muhammad more and more into the backfield rotation. Where have you seen the most growth from him, especially being as young as he is throughout fall and the first half of the season?
I've told this story a couple times, but when we started recruiting Adam, he was probably 175 pounds. It's pretty light, but we saw the talent. But what Coach Owens has done, getting his body up to, I don't know, something probably in the 210s right now. So physically, the development's there, and it looks great on him, and he's running hard and all that. But he's developed, and he's kind of gone from a high school system to a pro system, which is a tough jump to make. But he's done great with all his protections and all the learning and stuff like that. He's always able to answer any questions, as we're quizzing him through the week. But he's on the top of his game, and kind of excited to see how he keeps growing.
Coach Carroll, when you're down on the field, you see things from a different angle. When you went back in the film room and you saw Jonas dive into the end zone, what did you see from that offensive line?
There's a couple of great clips of our guys straining. We thought we got in the play before, and we did the celebration and kicked the extra point, and then had to come back out and do it again. Challenge those guys to, hey, we're going to rely on you to go get it done. And to a man, those guys all were able to get their job done and keep their pads low and get some press on the line. I think D'Lo had a nice little block down there, kind of at the point of attack, which is crucial. But all the guys made great blocks. Everyone executed very well when we needed them to.
That block by D'Lo is particularly noteworthy because he bent over backward an All-American from Michigan. That Mason Graham was the guy, he bent over backwards and opened the hole for Jonah Coleman. I think that almost really established him as a big-time football player.
It's kind of what we've seen from D'Lo throughout camp. We're excited to get a chance to recruit him and get him here, and he's excited to be here. It's a really cool story that a kid that grew up around this area that finally got to play for his hometown team. So I'm really excited that he's taken the leadership role for us. Been a great teammate, and it's not surprising that he's able to do the things he's doing. We've got a lot of proof of that through our camp and through these games so far. So great kid, and excited to see him have some success.
Steve, in sort of a similar vein, when you guys went back to the film, did you see anything from Cam Fab's interception other than, obviously it's a great play by him, but did you see anything other than that?
I saw a great play. He knew it was coming. He made a great play. That was all on him. It always starts with the pass rush and affecting the quarterback, and whether he felt rushed or not, whether he was rushed or not, ball came out when it came out, and Cam made the play. So all the credit to those guys. That was a big time play.
Steve, looking ahead to Iowa, you guys are playing the conference's leading rushers, averaging close to 8 yards a carry so far this season. What are some of the challenges that are going into game planning for him?
Yeah, this guy is a very good player. Probably the best skilled player we've played all season. This guy runs tough. He runs hard. He's an outstanding player. He's got great balance. It feels like every time he gets hit, he still goes forward. Everybody's at the point of attack this week. This guy's, he's very good. Big challenge for us this week. Big challenge. This guy's a dangerous player. He makes a ton of big plays. They'll give him the ball time and time again, and every single time eventually one pops. So everybody's at the point of attack this week with this guy. This guy's run hard. He's an outstanding player. A lot of respect for his game.
Brennan, how much work did it take to get that double quarterback pass to work? I watched it over and over again, and, you know, first you got a kind of a lateral halfway across the field, then a pass all the way back, and then I see all, like, 4 or 5 of your linemen all kind of lined up. Was it easy to get them to do that, or did you have to take many movie takes to have them in the right place, your guys?
Yeah, I'd love to say that one was easy, but hopefully we made it look easy, but it takes a lot of work to get that thing nailed. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on in that play. So proud of those guys for executing it, though. They trusted. You know, it is a little you know, off the beaten path as play calls go, but it's when it works, it's fantastic. And so the guys made it happen. So kudos to
Marching
them.
orders for the linemen, did they have to not be upfield? I mean, did they?
No, the ball's going to be behind the line of scrimmage, so they don't need to worry too much about where they are. Just got to make sure that no one bats that ball down or nobody gets in the way of that throw. Got to get the play started. Usually it works out when it does.
And they were told to run like to a general area and set up?
Go find somebody in the other opposite color jersey and go get them. Take a shot.
Brennan, I was, over the last 13 years under this defensive coordinator, had continuously one of the best defenses in all of college football. What's working there in the Iowa defense that makes them so tough?
Yeah, the system has been tried and true. They're really stout up front. You know, we played a fantastic front this past week. These guys are, you know, they're different, but they're just as good. The last week's guys were a little bit more dynamic. These guys are really strong, big, and physical, and they play their scheme really well. There's shades of Northwestern, kind of how they're going to get started. So we have a little bit of familiarity, but it's not the same. But it's at least we got a starting point. They're very solid. They're all in the scheme. They don't make a bunch of calls. They just they play their fronts, and everybody can tackle. So all safeties are going to come key the runs. The great run fit guys. The corners are not scared to mix it up in there. And then the D line's really the strength of their defense. All strong, stout, physical. Play with great toughness and gap integrity, and so it's an absolute challenge. This is not this is a tough game, and we're excited for go play in a hostile environment and see if we can find a way to win.
Steve, what did you guys?
It's one thing. Sorry, it's one thing to go up against one All-American candidate linebacker, but it seems like they've got two. What does that do when you're trying to plan for two guys in the middle that are just tackle gobblers like that?
Yeah, we got to do our best to get some movement on the down lineman to hopefully keep those guys from having a free run in the backfield. So yeah, we got a big challenge. So yeah, they got a lot of good guys. But this is why you play in the Big Ten. There's great defenses, great teams, great athletes. Why wouldn't you want to compete in this conference?
Steve, what did you guys learn from the Rutgers trip about taking a team, into a different time zone?
About the time zone, I don't know.
Getting you guys ready for a different time zone, I guess.
I mean, you just got to be ready to go. I mean, to me, it's more about the countdown to the game. If the game starts at this time, then, you count your hours back. Like, what am I doing 5 hours before the game? What am I doing 3 hours before the game, 2 hours before the game? I wouldn't buy too much into that stuff in terms of, how it changes and, get your head wrapped up and all that stuff. For me personally, I just, try and tell the guys, like, hey, start your countdown. We played later in the day at Rutgers, play earlier in the day at Iowa. It is what it is. They shouldn't be too wrapped up in that stuff. We're excited to go play some football. So wherever they schedule it, we're happy to play a game. And yeah, just work the hours back. That's how I look at it.
Either of you stay out on the field after the game, or both of you hightail it into the locker room?
No, I was in the sea of purple. I was able to find Coach Belichick for a second. And
Excellent.
Just gave him a little nod, and walked off, and enjoyed the evening. Did they rush the field much in the NFL?
Not
not very much. So it's kind of
live in the moment. Live in the moment.
no doubt. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys.
Have a good day.
Drew and Jacob, since you guys were here last year, how does it feel just after beating Michigan? We saw Jed Fish in the post-game recap giving a game ball to everybody who's on the roster for last season. Just how did that feel for you guys?
Yeah, it's one of those moments that I think after the game you realize how much it mattered. You didn't really think about it before, just with the context of last year, but a lot of us had to make some really tough decisions and really made an effort and a point to come back and leave their mark on this program. And so to kind of come to a full circle moment back with Michigan and all the alums, I mean, even Mike in the crowd, Devin in the crowd, all the guys that really that game, obviously last year coming short in the national championship. They're still the ones with the national championship trophy, but to kind of bring that all back and that we're the ones that decided to stay and really build this program and with the new chapter in Coach Fish, it was a really nice moment to see it all kind of pay off.
You guys ran out of the tunnel, I was down on the field, and Michigan seemed to run out as early as they could, and I saw them coming over, kind of woofing and taunting and talking smack. Was there much of that going on during the game?
Yeah, they seemed pretty excited to talk some trash, and that seemed like that was their strategy, or really early. But again, we try to keep everything focused on us and inward, not outward, and so it didn't really bother us too much. It's always fun to chit chat a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
Jacob, for you, what kind of led to your decision to come back and to stay here for the season?
I loved Washington, kind of built a good foundation here, and was trying to get as many teammates as I can who were my class, just to stay. Fortunately, they didn't, so we just said, all right, let's move on. It's life, kind of, really. So, yeah.
What was your first kind of impression of Coach Fish?
Another head coach, really, just my opinion, another one. So that was kind of my first impression, and then as time grew on, I kind of grew on me, and I respect him, and he's a really good head coach.
Jacob, I asked Coach Carroll about Voy being in the backfield as a blocker. It sounded like he said that there was a couple guys lobbying. Were you one of the guys lobbying to?
I hope so. I hope it was one of the guys. I never got asked to play it, but I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it. Yeah.
I think season high, 7 catches. How much more comfortable are you in this offense compared to even a couple weeks ago when you weren't getting those starting reps?
Definitely more comfortable. I feel like Fish has a lot of intellectual in the offense of the game. So whatever he says, I'm be sure that I'm ready at all times. And having this much catches definitely is confidence building for me this year. So it's definitely helpful for me in my career.
Do you feel an even greater responsibility because a lot of your teammates have been dinged up?
Yeah, no
just
doubt.
you and Decker almost this last weekend. I know Coots, I think, is still available, but he was on the questionable list. Seems like the tight ends are just really taking a pounding this year.
Yeah, definitely just trying to step up as a tight end, and with Q recovering still from his injury, I just want to be able to be the one to step up in the blocking game and passing game, so be able to be a hybrid. And also picking up Decker and his role in the game, because he's a young freshman. He has a lot to learn from. So I'm just trying to be that leader for him and his growth in his program.
I think you're one of the higher rated blockers. I know you said when you came here that was something you really wanted to improve on. Where specifically in your blocking technique do you feel like you've grown the most?
Definitely inside the box. I feel like with Big Ten defense, they're much more bigger, so it's definitely more competition. So, and playing with these guys, definitely in the fall camps and practice every day, it's just always competition. So I've been able to thankfully play against these guys and constantly improve every day.
Jacob, where do you feel you've improved the most under Steve Belichick's scheme?
I feel like being more comfortable is he gives us the freedom to make our own calls, which I feel like that's a big plus for me as a D tackle, to feel what kind of block I kind of want more. Do I feel comfortable taking on this double team on this play, or do I feel comfortable taking the single block? So I like that kind of freedom that Coach Belichick gives us as a defensive line to make our own kind of adjustments on the blocks.
Drew, you're not in agreement there. Same question for you. Where have you grown the most in this defensive scheme?
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it all year from multiple different players, but he gives a lot of autonomy to the players. And not in a way that's he doesn't care what goes on, but He believes that you grow the most in a defense when you feel like you have ownership over it. And so he'll meet with us every week, and we'll go over the call sheet and be like, so what do you guys like? What do you not like? What does this look like? And a lot of these things have kind of this built-in variation, right, where based on a look, Band-Aids can be like, hey, I see this, and the linebackers can be like, cool, do this, and it's all playing off each other. And so what I hope you guys see on Saturdays is that all 11 of us are working together and at all that same page, and kind of the trust that it grows between the corner all the way down to the D tackle really is what allows a defense to be great.
You know, I know when you win or lose a game, it's done and all of that, but when you look at that national championship game, you guys did to them this weekend what they did to you in January. They fourth quartered you, I mean, and you guys did that to them too. It was a one touchdown game going into Houston into the final quarter, and you guys were down by 3 going into this one. And do you wonder, you know, because you had such a great year last year and everything went your way until that final game, you know, that you could have beat them on another day?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, football's funny that it's really easy to leave the game and talk about shoulda, coulda, woulda. They beat us. It hurt. We had to take that all off season, and obviously everything that went on. Again, like I said, that we really noticed after this game how good it felt to kind of get that revenge. But leading up into the preparation, new staff, new team, new circumstances, and you know, this year we've really prided ourselves on how we finish games, our conditioning, our how we practice, and so to see that show up in the fourth quarter, just this, you know, taking out Michigan out of it, but just looking at ourselves, we were really proud of that. And then yeah, last year was last year.
Drew and Jacob, you guys played with Mike for a couple of years, and he was back. Did you get a chance to talk to him at all?
Yeah, he was super respectful. Obviously, we're in there warming up, trying to get ready for a game, so we said hi, kind of caught up for a little bit, but nothing crazy.
I didn't see him, though.
Who are some of the guys on the defensive line who've really stood out to you this year?
Sebastian Valdez is a beast. He's that guy. Voy, Zach Durfee. I'm glad to see him playing. Those are the guys that kind of stood out to me a little bit, and yeah, I'm glad I get to play with them.
I think Fish mentioned before the season started that he really talked to you about, you know, stepping into a leadership role. Right, you're a 6-year guy, seeing how your attitude impacts the other players. I guess, how have you embraced that challenge, or what do you feel like you've grown as a leader this year?
I don't. When I want to leave here, I want to leave on having the freshmen knowing what's good and what's bad, what's the right thing to do, what's the wrong thing to do, how you spend your time here. Obviously, me as a 6th year, time is everything. So I don't want these guys to make the same mistakes with the time that they spend the way I spend my time here. I don't want them to be here for 6 years the way I did, is what I'm saying.
Drew, it seemed like on special teams you guys made an adjustment midway through the game to kind of go with that shorter kickoff. Was that something specific that you guys saw from Michigan, or did it have more to do with sort of some of the issues that you guys have been having on kick coverage this season?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say it was specific to Michigan. We've had that in for a couple weeks. I think it's more just kind of building in some variation, switching up the looks a little bit just to keep them on their toes. I mean, at one point we were even debating it, just doing it just because the way the sun was, that it was going to be hard to catch. And so little things like that just to kind of mix it up. Nothing specific to Michigan's scheme.
Just curious, you know, the Pac-12 was a big deal, but, you know, the Big Ten is obviously a bigger deal. It's been around longer and got more teams. And can you feel that this year as you've gotten into this thing? You know, you had Michigan comes here and you've been back east and you're going back east again. And it seems like things are they're really different for us traveling and things like that. You know, we have to fly into a hub and rent a car and drive 100 miles to get to the game. But do you guys feel that it's different, that it's tougher, that it's, you know, more pressure?
It's just another game, is the way I see it.
More experience, you know, it's definitely fun, like going down to the East Coast and experiencing new like environments. But it's like Bandit said, it's just the same football, trying to like keep our heads straight. I feel like it's a lot of mental skills to be able to go into that environment and just not be full of emotion and just focus on what we have to do.
Block out the distractions is really what we're saying.
Keleki, how has your chemistry with Will improved over the last couple weeks?
It's definitely improved a lot. You know, still trying to get there, like being more close to them than I can be, but it's definitely helping me out as he's like stepped up as a leader, bring us all together. Always, having positive encouragement, practice, and in the game. He's never down on the mistakes he makes, and I try to help him out too. Like whatever mistakes he has, just pick him up whenever he's down, stuff like that. But it's been good.
You heard from your brother since you've become a Husky and been on the field on game day?
Yeah, he's been texting me a lot after games, just always congratulating me and just telling me to keep on working hard.
So he's had a chance to see some of the footage or some of the games live or
Yes, sir.
on TV or something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says, he's still a dog.
Hell yeah.
So last thing for me, Jacob, you did come back for the 6th year, and you played all along. The whole time you've been here, you've been a regular contributor, but now it's even greater for you, and it seems like there's much more responsibility for you because some of your teammates have been hurt at your position area. Do you feel that you really had to be here? I mean, and carry on and do what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I think God has a plan for us all, and I think that this is my that's the way I see it. That was my plan, and being that mentor, kind of older guy, just showing the ropes to the newer Huskies and the D tackles, and yeah, that's the way I kind of it's a plan that I kind of saw, and I'm grateful. I'm happy.
Thank you, guys.